Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. This is the one we've been talking about for about a week and a half, Tim. Everybody's excited. My friends are asking me, the listeners are asking me, when are you getting Brady on? When are you getting Brady on? We teased it a couple weeks ago, I think. Well, we finally got him. Brady Tkachuk is here, everybody. I'm excited. Tim's excited. Brady, not too excited, but
Oh,
he's here.
very excited. Very excited. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. Do you remember you were on 2 years ago? That's what I want to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that was COVID. I remember it was during the COVID year, I believe.
A lot's changed in 2 years, Brady. I'll tell you that. You were, yeah, on the North Division, the Canadian Division during COVID. You were the upstart Ottawa Senators. Since then, you've exploded. You've become a superstar in the NHL. Back when we talked to you, you didn't even have your own house, for Pete's sake. You were living in Mark Stone's basement with Stutzel and Norris. You were just a little infant. Now you're the captain of an NHL team. You just got married a month ago. You signed a big fat contract. You have a massive bookshelf behind you with hundreds of books and awards and lots of paraphernalia. That is intimidating. I'm not going to lie.
It's not mine. It's my dad's office. So I'm
Okay,
just,
so
yeah.
I'll let
I
you. I'll let you have that one. But how is
yeah.
life? How is Brady Tkachuk doing?
Yeah, it's been an eventful summer. It's of course getting married took a lot of the planning of the summer and the stress, anxiety, but um yeah, no, that was probably the best part of the summer. But yeah, it was a little bit of a longer summer than hoped and wanted, and hopefully down the road that won't be as long of summers anymore.
She's a St. Louis girl, or did you meet her in Ottawa?
I met her actually at school at BU, and she's from New Jersey, so it's kind of a weird connection that we made at school, and just been together ever since.
How many years were you at BU again? Too?
Just 1 year.
Just one, and you met her in that 1 year.
Yep, yep. The second half of the school year too. So I guess you got the best of both worlds. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I met her at met her at BU and been together ever since.
I met my wife in college too, and you get that satisfaction of knowing that she's not like a gold digger, kind of, because it's like she met you before you had anything. And she's not, I don't want to call them like puck bunnies or anything, but she was probably a good girl, right? And
Yeah,
you locked her up. Congratulations. Very
yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right. Moving on. You mentioned how you're looking forward to better things. You mentioned that, it didn't go well during the COVID shortened season. I don't know if we should jump right into it, Tim, but since Brady just segued perfectly into it, you guys made a lot of changes this offseason, major ones. You signed Vladimir Tarasenko. You gassed DeBrinket, who was supposed to come in and be, a 50 goal scorer. I don't want to go down that road just yet. What are you looking forward to this season? What are your sights? Are you Stanley Cup contenders? Are you shooting for the playoffs? Are you trying to improve on last year's 86 points where you were scratching the wild card? What's the Ottawa Senators goal for this year?
Yeah, probably what I'm most excited about is just to get back with the guys again and just get going. And last year kind of being in the kind of race to the end and kind of fighting our way back in February, March, and just kind of clawing our way, like you said, and just it created such a motivation for not only myself, but just talking to some of my teammates throughout the summer is just how bad guys want to take that next step as individuals and as a team. And I know everybody's just been itching just to get back, get going, and get in the swing of things. And yeah, no, it's I never like putting an expectation on our team, and it's all I care about. I think everybody cares about is just the belief we have for each other and with each other and what we can do and what we think we can do. But we're not going to be throwing out expectations kind of outside our locker room, I don't think. And we're just going to focus on day in and day out, whatever it takes to get to that next level.
Well, I say that just because wasn't it 2 years ago? Dorian was like, "We're done rebuilding. This is it. We're competing now." What did you say that like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely love the kind of where the mindset is that I know our whole organization is on the same page of what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. And that's all you can ask for is everybody pushing in the right direction.
What was it like? Because I played on some teams that have some tough times. The Sabres, we were the last place in the NHL. I played on the Arizona Coyotes, not great. You have been on some bad teams a few years ago when you started, rebuilding. What was it like playing in meaningful games down the stretch where it's like, hey, fellas, if we get on a run here, we can make the playoffs, and then we don't know what's going to happen? How did that feel compared to years past where it's just like, I just want this season to end? Let's just get these 82 games in so we can fast forward to next year.
Yeah, it's just the taste of it. Just I remember it was a sold out rink at home. We were playing Columbus, and we're up in the third period, and the whole crowd just started chanting, "We want playoffs!" And everybody was saying it. Got super loud. I remember I was like just lining up for a face off. I'm like, I got the chills, and like I want this even more than I already want it. Like it kind of controlled me from, I think it was like March 5th or 6th, whatever the date was. It controlled kind of, that's it, all I wanted to do. And that's how everybody felt kind of to finish off the season. Like we want to not only just do it for us, but for the people, the fans that have been there through the rebuild right from the start to saw the lowest of lows and now getting excited to, accomplish what we want to. It was honestly unbelievable. And it was, yeah, like you said, this definitely the first year that we were probably disappointed that we are so close, but at the end of the day, it's we took steps to be in that position, and we didn't have a great start, but we just fought our way back, and I think that says a lot about the character we have in our room, and those lessons we learned along the way of, all right, when we're in that crunch time, that playoff race, it's just one game at a time. And I think we learned that as the February, March went on, is that we're just taking it one game at a time. And I think that's gonna be huge for us moving forward.
You obviously are one of the younger captains in the NHL. You took over from Mark Stone. How old were you when you were named captain? What was it, 21? 22?
I actually don't even remember. Well, it'd be 2 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 22.
So you're a baby.
Mm-hmm.
You've developed now. You're slowly becoming a leader. Last year, you obviously took leaps and bounds. How big was it to get the addition of Claude Giroux, who has been there, done that? The guy's a future Hall of Famer. Did you lean on him a little bit, or did you just kind of go your own path? Did he help you in any way? Did he
Yeah.
pull you aside?
Yeah. Leaned on him heavily. He's a guy that, like, I felt like we've been playing together for the last 10 years. Like he's one of my best friends instantly. I could, talk to him about anything, and I relied on him so much, and yeah, he means a lot to me. And just even we've only played together for a year, he really is important to me, and his opinion and his thought process, and yeah, I think not only did he help me a lot, but he helped their whole team. And I know he's an important person to everybody in that locker room.
How important, Brady? I want to know, because you guys got a young team, one of the youngest in the show, especially your top guys, you, Tim, Batherson, Shabbat Shalom. Was he the guy when things got rough, when you're like, okay, he took the reins, or did he let you be the captain in that room? Who was the voice when you guys needed to get yelling to?
Yeah, well, I think what's good about, we have a lot of voices, and each year we get more and more voices from us young guys. Kind of get out of that young guy phase as we're taking steps and leadership and just kind of control the room. It's we're lucky that we have a lot of guys that step up, and not only some guys that are quiet, they lead by example on the ice, the way they play and the way they practice, especially, and so we're lucky we have a lot of leaders. Through tough times, I think we just kind of all just lean on each other, and just whatever needs to be said. Either G says it, me, Shabby, different guys like that will say it. But it's nice that we're all kind of collectively same thought process, same mindset. All we want to do is win, and I know we'll get there sooner rather than later.
Is it a little, I don't want to say demoralizing, or it challenges your manhood knowing that your coach is probably the toughest guy in the room and he could destroy all of you? Does that Does that play a factor into the voices in the room? And he's just such a manly man, and DJ Smith.
Yeah, he's no, he definitely commands the room whenever he walks in. You can definitely hear him coming when he down the hall with his voice. But no, he's been great. For me personally, he's wouldn't be the player I am was for him, and a lot of guys in that locker room can say the same thing. And he's a great coach, and yeah, I know talking to him throughout the summer, and I know he was talking to a lot of guys. Everybody's just ready to get going again.
What do you I don't like rumors. What do you make of the rumors of you guys getting Patrick Waugh? Earlier this summer, I was like, oh, Patty Waugh is going to come and coach again. Not that he was ever a good NHL coach. The guy would pull his goalie with 10 minutes left, and I scored an empty net versus him. I don't know why he would do it. What do you make of that? Because you're the captain. You have to answer these questions in the press. Was it just all rumors? You knew DJ Smith was the guy?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot, media driven question marks with, the ownership team and different things like that. So I think there is a phase, April, May, June, where it's just a lot of chaos. And so I just kind of stayed away from, believing different things. Just a lot of those things you can't control, and you don't know what's going on. So I think at that point in the summer, just focus on yourself and trying to get back and, working out again, getting the body all healed up from, nagging injuries throughout the year. So I think at that time we can't really control the rumors, but and with all the ownership stuff. So we just kind of went along with everybody's business, expecting, DJ to come back and everything like that. So, and he's been a great coach for us. So I think it was, of course, easiest decision they could have made.
You're too busy chugging beers with Brooks Koepka to worry about that stuff. I have a couple questions. This is a multi-layered question. How do you get to know Brooks Koepka, first of all? And how many beers were in? Was it the claret jug? Is that what they call it? Was that the Masters tournament jug?
No, it was the Wanamaker.
Is that the US Open?
I believe so. Yeah. Honestly, I saw he was at the game because we were in the Panthers club, my sister and I, and he stopped in, and somebody said he had the trophy in his box. So somehow it's just like, we'll go say hi, maybe have, my sister and I take a picture of the trophy, and then walked in and all of a sudden he just hands me the trophy. He's like, "What do you want in it?" I'm like, I don't know, I guess a beer, and then he was like, "All right, drink out of it," and I was like, "All right." So I didn't expect it to come out on Twitter, of course, but I thought it was definitely going to be pretty funny to take a drink out of that and take a picture and send it to everybody in my family, like what is going on right now? We're at the game, but you're drinking the Wanamaker. So they thought it was pretty funny when they saw that.
That's my next question, because 2 years ago you were in Calgary. Everybody saw you in the stands with your family, down in beers. You're in Florida, the press box, down in beers right after the season. Does your GM ever call you, like Pierre's like, "Hey, Brady, like pump the jets here. We don't want to have you on the Jumbotron chugging beer." Has there ever been a conversation like that with you and a higher up?
Yeah, I think Calgary. I think I got a call during the Calgary one, but yeah, you know what? It's kind of whatever. It's we live and learn. It's kind of just was me. I was just there in Calgary supporting Matthew, and of course we were just kind of right in the middle of the action, so wasn't able to hide. But being in Florida, I definitely wanted to be more low key without fan interaction, or tried staying off social media. Didn't want to be kind of out there on different things, but yeah, I guess that one snuck out there on me, and what can you do? Win some, you lose some. But yeah, that one I didn't expect to come out. I thought it was just to be a funny video to send amongst my buddies and friends, but at least I got that out of the way. I sent it before it came out on Twitter.
That's funny. Yeah, because when I was playing, I told Tim before we came on, after a game in San Jose, I went out and got one of those big dust boots, and I was drinking it. And I posted an Instagram picture the next day in the GM's office. But I don't have do you know the power that you have? Like, is that aware to you when like the GM calls you and you could easily be like, "Buddy, I'll get you fired"? Like, just know your role and shut your mouth, as The Rock would say. Whereas when the GM calls me, I'm like, never happen again. I'll delete my Instagram. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll murder my family. Like, does that ever cross your mind? It's like, holy cow! Like, I could do some damage here. I'm Brady Tkachuk. I'm 22 years old, 23 years old. I'm a captain. I got the world by the cojones. Does that ever cross
No,
your mind?
I never think like that. I don't think that's me as a person. It's I only try to not only just be there for kind of, but just be the person I am to, and that's I care about the person next to me. I don't think that is me to think that above anybody else or have all this power. Just try to stay level headed and just I've been lucky with the opportunity I've gotten, and I wouldn't have been in this position if it wasn't for my family and friends who've helped me every step of the way to get to where I am.
That's what makes us different. Like, Tim's my co-host, and I don't like when he talks. Right, Tim?
That's right. You just
That's
tell me
enough.
when you're ready.
So let's get back to hockey. You mentioned, you're very humble. You don't want to be over people. And I think that comes across on the ice, and definitely comes across when you fight. You don't see many captains fighting these days. You don't see the captains mixing it up. They try to stay on the periphery. They only fight when it's absolutely necessary, and it's big, big news. You had your career high in fights this year with 8. First of all, I want to know why. Why did you get 8 fights this year? Was it just completely random? Were guys asking you more? Were you more aggressive? I think you play the same way across the board throughout your career. What happened this year? You got an 8 dust ups.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know that was a career high, and I didn't even know I had 8 this year. So I kind of shocked me a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that. I guess. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, I enjoy it, but like I'm not looking for it. It's if it happens, it happens. If something happens with the teammate, no, I'm always going to stick up for them. But yeah, I didn't realize that was a career high this year. So yeah, I mean, I guess just because I played 82 games, I had more opportunities. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I enjoy it, but no, every year I think I learn to pick spots better, and I think that's just with kind of maturing and realizing that certain situations where I should and shouldn't be, but it's if something happens, then of course there always be sticking up for a teammate.
One of the bigger ones, captain versus captain, very rare. I think of Jonathan Taves, Getzlaff. I think of Taves. Who else did he fight? Jumbo Joe Thornton. Early in the season, December 2nd, you fought Jacob Trouba, one of the hardest hitters in the NHL. You dropped the mitts with him at center ice at MSG, the premier spot for fighting. It's MSG. Foreman, Ali, huge fights have went down there. Was there a backstory to that? What prompted that fight, and what was it like fighting Madison Square Garden, center ice?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt like McGregor. I felt like it was a pretty unbelievable feeling. I'm not gonna lie to you. Center stage of MSG. That was something I'll never forget. I don't know. It's just yeah, it was at the end of my shift, and I was actually skating to get off the ice, and now he asked me, he's like, "Hey, can you give me one?" I was like, "All right." I was standing right over the down, like, "All right, well, if we're doing an immediate center ice," and I was actually thinking to myself, like, "All right, this is pretty cool." Yeah, pretty cool before, and yeah, I mean, there was no really kind of backstory behind it. It was just, I think he wanted to get his team going. I think we had momentum, and it was towards the end of the period, so. Yeah, no, I thought we were playing well, and then all of a sudden that happened. So thought, center ice, I think we were down 1-0 too. So just to kind of get the boys going into the third period. And yeah, that was definitely a memorable moment for me individually as being, center ice at MSG.
I got 2, and then I know Tim wants to jump in. You got Zach McEwen this year. You kind of did the heavy lifting last year. I know you have Norris. He was injured. There wasn't a lot of beef on your team. Is it nice knowing that you can just ease up? You don't have to be the big physical presence this year, that you have like a moose coming on the team and Zach McEwen, knowing that the East is getting big. You got Ryan Reeves coming to Toronto. You got Luch going to Boston. Those teams are beefing up. You play them a million times. Were you relieved when you saw that you got Zach McEwen signed this offseason?
Yeah, no, it's I've heard nothing but unbelievable things about Mac, and I'm excited to meet him the next couple weeks and get to know him. I think that he's one of those guys that just gonna gravitate towards and be buddies with, and yeah, I mean, to have a guy like that who's willing and from the guys I've talked to, in Phil and Van, just an unbelievable guy, just a good person and a good teammate, and that's what I'm really excited to uh, for him to be a part of this team, and I feel like he's going to gel in nicely with everybody, and yeah, he's not afraid of everybody, which or of anybody, so that's always respect to those guys who are willing and to stick up for the team or to get the guys going.
No, he's a legit heavy. Like he's top 10, maybe Tim, you think?
Mhm.
Top 10, maybe
He's up
7?
there. Yeah.
He's up there. Yeah, he doesn't back down. One more thing. Do you, now that you're in the East, or your brother's in the East, one full year, do you guys talk to each other and you're like, gosh, I hate this guy. He's a prick. You play him in 2 days. Can you stick him in the ribs and give him a shot? Or this guy, this defenseman, he's weak, outside, inside, beat him in the triangle. Or this guy is a terrible fighter. Or this guy said that. Do you do that? And then, settle each other's scores a little bit?
Um,
That's a
yeah,
yes, Tim.
yeah, no, that's a tricky one because obviously we're we're not on the same team, but no matter what, I got his back and he's got my back. But I wouldn't say we have like a ever like, oh, you got to get this guy, um, but I always try to, like, I don't know, protect him if something happens and somebody goes after him. I'm like, who does this guy think he is? Like he's gonna know next time we play if he's gonna do that. So but yeah, I wouldn't say like we're like, all right, you need to get this guy, this guy, this guy. It's just it's kind of when we're watching, we're like little things that we might not even talk about after the game, but I would see or he would see and be like, that ain't happening on my watch or something like that, and we wouldn't probably even know about it.
Who's got the busiest stick in the league? Who just like a little, did the little slash in your wrist, hitting your laces?
Don't really, it doesn't happen like too much
No?
anymore. Not that I feel like. I don't feel like anybody's
No, that's
done
too
that to me
bad.
around, like even cross checks. Like, I mean, now that's their rules are getting pretty strict on cross checks, so you don't get those kind of vicious cross checks anymore. But yeah, I don't even know who cross checks. Thank God for the shoulder pads. I don't really feel them when that happens. So
What's
yeah, I
what's
don't
the
know.
move then? What's the move when you want to get somebody? Because it used to be the wrist, it used to be the top of the skates, the cross check in the back, above the pants, the ribs. What do you do now if you want to hurt somebody or get, just let someone know you're there?
Yeah, well, for me, it's always just a slash behind the legs if skating up the ice, or when the opportunity comes, just really put my body into a hit and really try to, I wouldn't say hit to hurt, but because you
Yeah,
never
you
want to
can
hurt
hurt.
anybody, but hit with an intention to make them feel it is more kind of my way of getting to it.
Someone came on our show and said you like to gouge their eyes out. I don't know. That
Yeah. But moving on.
that honestly just came to the top of my head. I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Tim, you go.
Yeah,
That's
well,
too
one guy
funny.
that took a major leap forward last year was Timmy Stützle, who basically doubled his goals, doubled his points. What did you see from him this year? Was he doing anything different? Was it a little bit of puck luck, or did he take a major stride forward?
No, definitely not puck luck. With him, it's every day and no, like you said, each year he's gotten so much better. And even like it was the day to day, just how much better he got and how much more confidence. And he's an unbelievable player. I'm very lucky to be able to play with him. And no, I'm excited to see where he can go and kind of take us. He's obviously a huge part of our team. And what I like kind of most about it is just he's stepping up into leadership role day. Every single day he's working on the ice, kind of leading by example, but also being a leader off the ice and being there for guys and he's fiery too, so he'll stick up for anybody too, and little scrums and battles as well.
I mean, there were so many guys that had so many points in the league last year, and people I think don't realize he had 90 points last year. It's a lot.
Yeah, and I think he missed a couple games too, so it's even more impressive.
The other one I want to ask about is the Jacob Chikrin, who obviously was, the trade sweepstakes. It seemed like they were going on for 2 or 3 years at that point. And then he gets traded to Ottawa. How did you find out about the trade? Did you know that you guys were in the hunt for that? And what has he brought to your team since he's joined?
Yeah, I think, well, just seeing the rumors, deadline of, I think it would be like Puck Empire, be like these teams are linked to, this player. So I remember I saw that, and then actually we were going out for Derek Brassard's 1,000th game dinner. We were just going out to the restaurant before kind of everybody got there, and yeah, found out via text that we got him, and I was like, whoa, didn't even kind of realize how far along the process was, and then yeah, then we had dinner, and I guess he had a crazy flight schedule from Arizona, got in at like 6 a.m. and into New York. We didn't see him until the bus to the game because he was sleeping all day. So it was pretty quick on how it happened and how he didn't want to take the night off either. He's like, I got in late, terrible sleep, but I want to start this chapter with you guys, and it was that big game when it was Patrick Kane's first game as a Ranger too. So it was just, the atmosphere was crazy, and it was just it was awesome, and you could see the impact he had even from game one. Now I've known him from the past too with youth hockey and different stuff like that. So I had a connection with him, and no, we're super lucky to have him, and he's made our team so much better.
Speaking of Kane, we had him on the show a few years back, and he said before they started winning cups, they didn't know how hard you had to work, and they realized it was real that they're contenders when they traded for Marian Hossa. When you guys got Chychrun, did you guys stop and say, you know what, this is real now? We're expected to win. This guy arguably was the best defenseman on the market. We got him now. The expectations were down here. Now we got this moose, and they're up here. Did it just put a little more pressure on you guys? Did it give you a little vote of confidence from your GM saying, hey, man, like, we're spending some money now on this kid?
Yeah, it skyrocketed for sure. It's I remember it was I think it was me, Batherson, G, and Shabby were all kind of together when it broke that we were getting them, and just immediately went to Twitter to check, and like just we were talking about like, oh, holy, like I know for Drake and Shabby and I, this is our first time that we actually brought in somebody versus everybody being traded out at the deadline. So we're like, A, this is a weird experience, and B, like, all right, now let's get the job done. And of course we didn't, and which stinks, disappointing, but I think it's created such a fire amongst us all that now, of course, spending to the cap now and doing kind of what winning teams do, and being put in that position, it's just so exciting for us just to get going again, and to show everybody that we're confident in ourselves to take that next step. And of course, behind the scenes, we have so much belief with one another, and I feel like the trend I've been saying on the show so far is just we're all excited to get back and get going. Like, this is kind of the dead weeks of the summer where wrapping up training, wrapping up things at home, and kind of going back to our cities. So just want to get training camp started and get going and get the season going.
What's the word on Josh Norris? Is he good to go?
Oh yeah. I don't know exactly when fully cleared, but having him back, it's gonna be huge for our team and huge for our locker room as well. And just such a good guy. And of course, my history with him is one of my best friends, and I've known him for years now. It's just what he does for our team and what he creates with the speed, shot, skill. It's really going to help us and really going to push us to that next level. And I'm just excited to get him back and get him back in the locker room, day to day. I think that's a big part we missed throughout the season, was just having him day to day, and having his antics, but also having his leadership as well. It's just we missed him for sure last year. And we're really lucky and excited for him to get back and get going for this year.
Yeah, the kid played 8 games last year. So to have him at full strength for a full 82 game schedule, you bring in Jonas Corposalo, a rock solid goalie. The guy's a 1A starter. You ditched DeBrincat, who everybody hated on the team. I talked to everybody outside of you. They didn't like him. He didn't fit. You bring in Vladimir Tarasenko, who's a moose, an absolute moose. I'm excited for this team. Have you met Tarasenko? Have you talked to him? What are your thoughts on that pickup?
Yeah, I've known Vladdy from being in St. Louis and skate with the Blues guys and him being here. So I know,
so everybody I bring up, Brady's like, hey, my best friend, friend.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to get to know him more for sure. But no, he was always good to me when I was skating with the Blues. I'm excited to meet Kubalik as well. I've never met him. I don't think I've met Mac, Corposalo, and the rest of the new guys. I don't think I've met them, but just like super, super excited to get to know those guys and just welcome them to the team. It's I think they'll see how tight we are and for nothing but great things for all those guys. And I'm just excited to welcome them onto the team and kind of get going.
So I always hesitate to ask these questions because it's a dick thing to ask, but I'm like, okay, you're a reporter now, kind of. You got to ask these questions. You brought in Tarasenko, Giroux, Chychrun, DeBrincat, Corposalo, Talbot, Murray. You re-signed all you young guys to ELCs. When is it time to really? This is our year. You've improved every single year. You went from lounging near the bottom to middle of the pack. You were in the race last year with 86 points. You were very close to the last wild card spot. They had 92. When do you start feeling the pressure? You're the captain. You're the guy. Do you feel it from the press when you show up next week? Are they like, Brady, let's go? Does it sink in? When do the fans start going, we want a winner here?
Yeah, I think everybody has, the right to ask that and feel that. And you know what? I think what's everybody on our team, I think what everybody, their goals, no matter who you are, if you're projected to be last place, first place, you want to win the Stanley Cup year in and year out. And that's everybody's goal going into this season. And I don't think that's any different with our team. And of course, I'm not saying we're Stanley Cup contenders, but we want to keep taking steps and keep improving day in and day out. And we have that standard on our team. I think that's really all you can ask for is every day we're going to do whatever it takes to get there and to get there, whether it's this year, next year, 5 years, 10 years. Our dream is to win in Ottawa, and that goes top to bottom throughout our whole organization. So the fact that we have the belief and we have that commitment day in and day out, I think that's really all you can ask for. And when it comes to the pressure from the outside, I think it's just the answer is kind of don't really listen to it. And of course, everybody's got their opinions, but really the only opinions that matter are the guys in that locker room and the things fans don't see on a day-to-day basis. Not everybody sees the practices, the workouts, the preparation, all this, all that. And but for the guys in the room, that's really all it cares about is doing it for each other, which we have that mindset, commitment, and on our team.
I'll be honest. I think Stanley Cup is attainable. You look at obviously your brother's team last year, they didn't have any business being in the Stanley Cup finals and they were, a hair away from winning the cup. You guys, if you look at your roster, it's right there. You're very, very close. You look at your biggest rival down the way, Toronto Maple Leafs, they're a Stanley Cup contender every single year and they flake out. I feel like you should want those expectations. It's good. They've failed. I feel like you look at your roster, you're right there with those guys. It's pretty impressive. All right, Tim. You got a couple more?
Yeah, just some rapid fire questions here to wind it down. So the first one's a fill in the blank. Shabbat is a top blank defenseman in the NHL.
Top
Jewish?
10.
Oh, sorry. It's just for Brady.
Yeah.
Last time we had you on, I asked you who you think was better, Matthews and McDavid. You said Matthews. Would you change your answer now?
I mean, they're just both special. Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for, but yeah, I mean, I guess you got to go with McDavid because just what he does.
What's the best restaurant on the road?
Oh boy, Carbone or Noosterette?
What
I don't know
city?
either one of those.
Carbone's in Vegas, and then Noosterette's in New York.
What kind of food is Nooster at?
It's like, have you seen, the Salt Bay guy, like the steak, the guy that does the salt. Yeah, it's his
Yeah.
restaurant.
Oh, it
It's kind of
is.
all
Oh,
over. Yeah,
okay.
it's
Did
all
you get
over.
the
It's in,
gold crusted flake
it's a
steak?
little out of the price. That's a little out of the price range here. We're good with
Hold on, let me
skirt
pull
steak.
up cap friendly 8.205 Brady. I feel like we could
I don't know if
do
I'll
it.
be comfortable with the gold steak coming to the plate. I'd rather just take the normal one.
What do you order? You get a prime rib, a T-bone, a fillet. What's your order?
They have like, they're not like those steak. It's like hard to explain. They got like this steak, and it's probably not the healthiest thing, but like steak with this butter. They're like, this butter is just kind of melts, and they just throw it in there. You flip it. They got this like steak spaghetti. I think they do have a tomahawk that we have. The group of us usually go, but yeah, that place is awesome.
Wine or beer with it?
Wine.
Sides for the table?
A fry, asparagus, and like another veggie like Brussels sprouts or something like that.
Does someone order? I've been on teams where one guy just orders for everybody. Marty Turco in Chicago, he'll be like, "I got this." Orders everything for everybody, like we're his children.
Mm.
Does somebody order all the sides, or does it just kind of go around?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think I control the appetizers, and it's more of a collective for the sides. If
Okay.
like do the base potatoes or potato based veggies or two veggies, and if guys want to throw in like a cream corn or something like that, throw that in if they have it at that place. But yeah, I feel like with the chaos of like appetizers, I just like to do the
Good charge.
appetizer right away, get them out, and then that sets the pace for dinner.
You got to have that guy, Tim, take control. Like you said, it's chaos where it's just like, who's ordering? Is the waitress or waiter here? What's going? Right away, you sit down, you get a couple scallops, you get a couple this, couple shrimps, couple whatever, and then you got food and everybody's happy. Sorry,
Yep.
Tim, I hijacked your stuff. Go ahead.
This is a tough one. Who's the most underrated player in the league?
Not on your team.
Okay, I was just about to go there.
Yeah, that's too easy.
I mean, there's nobody other than I can only think of on our team is Jake Sanderson. I had to break the rule there. Jake Sanderson is the
It's
most
such a-
underrated player. I know. I'm sorry.
Such a soft answer.
I took the easy route on this one.
Really,
All
I thought you were
right,
going to say your brother. Like these
Yeah.
guys.
You got to
Well,
make
why
it.
is Jake Sanderson underrated? Why?
Because I think what Tim was saying with Timmy getting 90 points is so underrated and not really talked about. I think Sandy's first pro season of what he did for our team and how he just made our team right from game one, how much he made our team better, and coming out of college and just the impact he had, the minutes he played, and I just couldn't believe he wasn't even in the run for Calder, because I was like, this guy is one of the most important players on our team, and just how it went unnoticed, and his speed, his hockey sense, but his work ethic is second to none. I haven't seen a guy work like he did throughout the year. It was quite impressive in the shape he's in, but just the speed. I'm excited to see what he's going to do for us this year, because he's going to be an awesome player for us.
32 points he had. That's not bad. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, 21-year-old kid. All right. I'll give it to you, Jake Sanders.
Yeah. Next question. You got to make a line with yourself on it. Any two players in the league, ideally, but not teammates again.
Would love to play with my brother. I think that was an easy one.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
So bad. And your dad. Oh!
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. He said players in the league now, so I'm gonna go Robbie Thomas. He'd be our centerman.
St. Louis boy.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, a couple more. Who's the hardest defenseman to play against?
That's a tough one.
Jake Sanderson.
He would be. I'm gonna go with that's a tough one. Guys like Hedman, I've got a tough time. You know, got tall guys with speed. They're always tough to play against. So I'd probably go with him.
Who's the easiest? Who do you see and you're like, I'm going to his side?
I'm trying to. Well, it's not the easiest, but I know I'm like, all right, if I get him in the right spot is Quinn Hughes, but I know he could skate right by me. But I'm like, if I just have a chance just to get a lick on you, it's definitely putting it in his corner.
Tim's got a man crush on all the Hughes brothers, so that he doesn't like that. He literally talks about them every show. It's embarrassing.
They're good. What do you want me to say?
Are you good friends with the Hughes brothers? Are you...
Yeah, Quinn was my roommate at the U.S. program, so I'm very tight with him. So
that's fun.
So he's probably the guy I'd put it in because I know he'd be dying laughing in the corner when it happens.
What do you make of New Jersey? I heard they're trying to get him from Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean that'd be pretty cool
brothers.
That'd be pretty cool to have the brothers together. But yeah, I don't know if that's happening. It's maybe down the road they'll all be together.
They make too much money. These kids. All right, sorry, Tim.
Last question from me.
Well, hold on. That's who's your dream fight? If one guy in the league who you want to just drop the mitts with, who is it? Is it Radko Gudas?
No, I don't know because I don't really like. I don't want it to get out like
we'll talk after.
I don't want the expectation to be like, oh, these guys are going to be fighting because I don't know what even the situation is. But
we had Reeves and Lucic on in back-to-back shows, and I didn't want to do that. Like, are you guys going to finally fight this year?
Yeah,
so I get it. Yeah. But there's some guys who you would like to fight. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely on the list.
Mine was always Phil Kessel. He would never drop the gloves. He's a coward. Absolute coward. All right. What was your most memorable fight ever? You got the Trouba one this year. Which one do you look back on and go, pretty badass?
Yeah, that one was probably in a league of its own for sure.
The movie?
It's a good movie, but no, that one was definitely up there. That was number one. I'm trying to think if we're not comparing that one. I don't even know. They're kind of all just I don't know. Definitely the Trouba one is number one.
It's hard to beat that one, Tim. Center ice, MSG. All right, Tim. Sorry, your last one. He's so pissed I took his.
Just trying to keep up with you. Last question. We do have a lot of young kids that listen, a lot of young hockey players. What advice do you give to kids that want to grow their game and be a better player?
Yeah, well, I've there's definitely a core for my brother and myself, and even my sister is be the hardest worker and be a good teammate. Those are the two things that pretty much all you can do or the only things you can control are being the hardest worker and being a good teammate and being there for the person next to you. And I think if you focus on that and try to perfect that, then you'll be successful no matter what you do.
Love it.
Get that tattooed on your back, Tim. Inspirational. I got one more. Who gave you the best wedding gift out of all the guys? You had some pretty heavy hitters in your wedding party. I'm not going to name who was there, but who was the most generous?
Yeah. There's a lot of generous guys.
Because they can't give you money.
Yeah. I got to think because that was
your wife.
Guess we went through it. Yeah.
Like a blender?
Oh, yeah. Just like kind of engraved bottles of wine. Those are pretty cool for decor and be able to kind of put it in the cellar and kind of show it off. There's definitely thoughtful and I don't want to give that person too much credit because I already gave him too much credit on the show.
Who was it? Was it his brother?
Sanderson.
Nope.
Was it Sanderson again?
Just a good kid.
Unbelievable. We got to get this guy in the show, Tim. Holy moly.
He's too big league for us now.
He's going to be on Chicklets. Yeah, he's not going to come on our show.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, Brady. Well, listen, man, congrats on everything. Good luck on the start of the season. I'm going to be watching. Very excited for you. Good luck, man. Go out and kill it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Have a good one. Cheers.